right. Very good. So thank you to everybody that is joining us. As you know, we had our last Talk About It Tuesday back in November, December. We do them on a kind of rotating schedule. And when we had that last Talk About It Tuesday, it was on youth or young professionals programs, and we had a number of people interested in starting a young professional group that were not actively engaging at that time. So we decided to do Young Professionals Part Two and strategically invite a few people that we know are having successful programs. So thank you, Mackenzie, for jumping on from the Opelika area. And I asked John Mark specifically to jump on as well. Two very different programs. Um, and so to that end, I'm going to just ask Mackenzie, if you wouldn't mind, kind of walk us through the Lee County Young Professionals, its structure, programming, just give us some, kind of highlights of what you guys do there. We're also going to follow up when we send the recording out to everyone. We'll also include some links to additional information. But Mackenzie, if you don't mind, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you talk about the great things that you guys are doing over there in Lee County.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Mackenzie Poole, Vice President for the Opelika Chamber. So we have multiple leadership programs and young professional programs. So I just want to make sure that I'm touching on the right one. So we have
All
our,
of them.
oh gosh. Well, so I'll just give you a rundown of the three that we are over. So we have a 20 under 40 program, which is a year-long program for individuals. They must live in Opelika and are under the age of 40. Those are the requirements. And that program runs from August to May. And they meet twice a month from 4 to 6 through that time. And they have a kickoff retreat and a winter retreat. And then they have a graduation typically in May. We have our Lee County Young Leaders Program, which is a county-wide program that is for high school juniors and seniors throughout Lee County. And we typically have about 34 students in that program. The requirements are really just they live in Lee County, and we try to have a diverse group that represents all of our local high schools, from Auburn High School, Opelika High School, to Lochapoka, Smith Station. Lee County is pretty wide, so we cover a wide range from some of our students are in Eastern time and some of our students are in Central time, so it makes it lots of fun for communication for me. But that is also a year-long program that runs from August to April. And we have a great partnership with the schools. They get a full day out of school once a month. So it's from 8 to 5, and we utilize our community college, Southern Union. They provide a bus for our students. And so that's just like a quick overview of that program. And then now 2 years old, we have our Opelika Young Professionals program. So in the area, the Auburn Chamber has had a super successful young professionals program. I think they've been doing it for, I don't want to speak for them, but at least 5 to 7 years. And so, but we kept having people say they wanted one for Opelika. And so we started that program last year, and I'm happy to like deep dive into the process of starting that program if that's what everybody's interested in. But those are our three programs that we are all over, and I'm happy to like deep dive into any one of those three. Whatever we want to like vote in the chat. I'm happy to, because they're all unique and different programs. Opelika Young Professionals is our newest program. And then 20 under 40 and Lee County Young Leaders kind of started around the same time. I think we're in our 16th year for 20 under 40, and we're in our 13th year for Lee County Young Leaders. So those are kind of more established than just trying to start one. So happy to go whichever direction the group prefers.
We certainly, I'm going to open it up to let folks pepper you with questions. But I just want to make sure for clarity, the 20 under 40 is an Opelika Chamber initiative housed and run by your team, by Opelika team, correct?
Yes. Yes.
As is the Opelika YP.
Yes.
Okay. And the other, um, is it its own entity or all three housed under you guys?
All three are housed under us.
All three. Okay. Very
So
good. All
yes,
right.
all three run through us. It looks like from the few responses we've gotten, Opelika young professionals is the hot topic, and happy to kind of explain that process of how we started it from literally not having a program. So we basically how we started it, our city of Opelika economic development team kind of was wanting a young professionals program to assist with like attraction and retention efforts. And so we kind of came together, and that was January 2023. In June of 2023, we hosted interest parties. So we were like, okay, people keep telling us, hey, we want to Opelika young professionals program, but we kind of wanted to see that in real time. Like, okay, how many people are actually interested in this? Like, if it's just going to be 20 people, we can make like a committee or something. Like creating a young professionals program is a whole different ballgame. And so that June, we hosted 2 interest parties. And really we created an Instagram and a Facebook account for our young professionals program. And we created reels kind of highlight interest, because that's kind of like where a lot of the young professionals are, is through those videos. But we hosted 2 interest parties in June. They were the same day, and we hosted one at a local coffee shop downtown, and we hosted one at it's called Botanic, but it's basically like a bar like patio scenario. We were very strategic on the locations that we picked. We wanted them to kind of have something kind of going on. So like Botanic, for instance, their patio had live music happening that night. So we wanted it to be very comfortable atmosphere for everybody, but also kind of a popular spot where young professionals want to be. Try to select locations that have as low like barriers to entry as possible. These interest parties were free. We and the economic development team covered the cost. And what we did to get people there is we said, for the coffee shop one, we said first 50 people get a free drink, and first 100 people get a free drink. And at both of these interest parties, we had them both run for 2 hours long. They were advertised as come and go as you please, with the kind of first 50 get a free drink, first 100 get a free drink. And it was literally just a mingle. We had people come in, they made a name tag, and at the locations we had a survey, and we were like, please complete this survey and meet people. That was all the interest parties were. We want you to complete this survey and connect with other young professionals, and we marketed it as that. Between the 2 events, we had just over 150 young professionals show up at these interest parties. And so we had great data from the surveys. Every single person filled out a survey. And one thing that was very helpful from those surveys is one of the questions, we asked them general questions of their contact information, but then we also asked them, like, what are you looking for in a young professionals program? What days of the week are you available? Just like basic data that would help us in like building programming. But we also asked them, are you interested in serving on the board for Opelika Young Professionals? And so from there, I had about, I would say 80 of the young professionals say that they were interested in serving on the board. And so I took those interested people's emails, and I emailed them. I said, please send me your resume. And I had them answer 3 questions of like, why they think that they would be a good fit for our board. And from there, I picked 26. We had that kind of fizzled some people out to see like how legitimate they were. So I ended up having about 45 from there that actually submitted the questions and resume. And then I had just kind of ad hoc committee help me go through and select our board, made sure that they were diverse age ranges. We have a lot of we had some remote people representing different companies, all the things. And so we built the board. We had like an initial meet and greet of the board. And then from like September to December of 2023, we went to work kind of building out an articles of association and like a mission, pricing, age range, all the stuff. And we kind of basically created the organization with the goal of doing an initial launch that January 2024. And so with the initial launch, and we kind of looked at Auburn Young Professionals. They always do, like, the program runs January to December. It's a year-long program. It's a membership fee, and so it's additional revenue for the chamber. And we set it up as a completely different membership. But the kickoff is always a free event. We got sponsorships to support that. But very similar to the interest parties, it's come and go. First 100 people get a free drink. We have some like charcuterie, we have live music, and it's really just we give the basic information of the program, and it's just an opportunity for people to network. In our first year, our first kickoff of our official launch, we had 201 people walk through the door. I credit a lot of that from our board promoting it, but also we really leaned into creating fun reels that engage young people. Like, a lot of people said they saw it on social media, or we posted flyers and stuff around town, kind of promoting the program. Like when we did the interest party, Opelika Young Professionals interest party, we had that in all the downtown businesses, the parks and rec facilities, coffee shops, bars. We had flyers everywhere to kind of help promote the program and get people engaged. But honestly, for every single one of those events, interest parties, the kickoff that we initially did, we had no clue who was going to come, because we did not do registration, because I personally believe sometimes registration can be a barrier. Because if people are like, oh, well, I didn't register, I can't come, or just it sometimes can cause an unnecessary barrier. But for those events, we've never done registration. But basically at the kickoff party, we're like, hey, if you want to be a member, our first fee was $60 for a person to join. We do not require them to be a member of the chamber. And we actually increased the age range. The Opelika's median age range is 38. So our age range for our young professionals program is actually 21 to 45. Most of the time it's that 40 cutoff, but sorry, I feel like I'm like talking very fast. I'm like brain dumping on all of you guys. But 21 to 45, our young professionals program, our 20 under 40, you have to be 40. And we are finding that we had a lot of people going through 38, 39, 40, and then they graduate the program, and then they're like, okay, how do I stay engaged, or how can I engage? So that was one of the reasons why we personally made the decision of having our age range 45. So those people that go through our 20 under 40 program have several years of engaging with more people and having additional outlets. So, but through our program of work, we really just tried to do like a monthly event. The social ones were the most successful, even though sometimes people are like, they don't want just social, they don't want to just drink and stuff, but those ones were the most popular. But I have found that doing like something where they're learning something, but then they have a social opportunity, those are like the best events for young professionals. And in our first year, we had 150 members join. So was very, very excited. Our board had the personal goal of 150, and we hit that in November. So, and we just kicked off our second year at the end of January, and we had about 150 people walk through the door. But I'm telling you, those 150 that walked through the door, I had never seen, I would say, 120 of those people. Like every time, it has been such a diverse group of people. It has made me realize just how many remote workers there are in our area. And so we're just kind of taking that and running with it. I haven't checked how many members we are currently, because like I said, we're just doing January to December. So it's not like their membership continues to roll over. They are expected to pay that fee. We did increase the fee from 60 to 70 for our second year, but we do still feel like that's extremely reasonable. And trying to think. I see there's some questions, so I'll answer those. No, we did not form a different 501c3 for our Young Professionals program. Our Opelika Chamber Foundation, we made sure that our mission is broad enough to where our leadership programs can fall underneath our foundation. So that's just a lot of work to create a 501c3 for all of those programs. I wouldn't recommend. Do they want? Yes. Okay. So ours is a little bit different. I totally copied Tulsa Young Professionals. I had met one of their founding members at IOM 2 years ago, and it was when we were kind of like having our interest parties, and she kind of brain dumped on me all of their things. Their Young Professionals program has been going on for 20 years. They have an extremely successful Young Professionals program. They do very unique things. And so I loved what they were doing and thought it was different than any Young Professionals program that I had seen. So I met with her, and then I met with David, who's actually their director now. I actually went out to Tulsa for the ACCE Events and Communications Conference, and he invited Lindsay and I to a Young Professionals event as one of their signature events that happened to be going on while we were out there. And so got to pick his brain, and he actually was extremely helpful in sending me governing documents and things to kind of have a baseline of like, hey, where do we start? Because their program has been so well established. I credit everything that I know, I credit to them, because they were just such a blessing to me and so helpful in our process of getting our program launched. So a lot of the things that I'm saying is from my own experience, but also from their experience, because I just kind of trusted what they've told me, and everything that they've told me has been super, super successful. But they do, they call them crews. So, and we did establish crews. So we did a monthly event where it was like all Young Professionals could join, but we also established 5 crews. We had a arts and entertainment crew, business development, community service, diversity, and sports and recreation. And so we had 2 board members that were kind of like the crew leaders, and the crews were charged with creating a quarterly event alongside our monthly events to where they could hang. So pretty much like what a crew is to us is it's just a casual hangout, or like say there's a program or something that's already going on in our community. Those crews kind of latch onto those and make it like a safe space for people to meet over common interest. So for instance, our sports and recreation crew, they have done a pickleball event where we have 20 to 30 people and they all meet up and play pickleball. Our arts and entertainment crew has done an amazing job partnering with our local theaters. Like for instance, they all went to the high school theater together, and then they went and got ice cream at the local ice cream shop and discussed the play and different interests like that. Our diversity crew has had mixers. They're planning on doing a religious panel this upcoming March, where different religious leaders in the Opelika area will kind of share the different beliefs and the foundation of their religion and different things like that, where people can feel comfortable and ask questions. Um, the community service crew, like a lot of people are like service and social for their young professionals program. Community service crew hosted different partnered with different nonprofits and had a speaker come in, or they did a different activity. So that's where, and one thing I will say about young professionals, they say they want to do community service, but they don't always show up. So I will say that as a young professional myself, like I want to be helpful, and then I get busy, and it's not always the most people that show up for those things. So just be aware of that. But I feel like I've been talking a lot, so I apologize. It's a lot. It's been very rewarding to see the success of our program. I'm happy to send you guys follow-up flyers or information about our program, just so you can see kind of some of our branding stuff, or you can look on our website. We have our own young professionals page. We created a beautiful video explaining what Opelika Young Professionals is. So if you go to opelikachamber.com, that'll be a great way for you just to kind of see what we're doing. But I also want to give time for John Mark to talk. So
Mackenzie, amazing. Thank you so much. I think that is exactly what we had needed from the last was kind of that roots of how to start,
mhm.
where to start. And shout out to Tulsa Chamber.
Yes.
There are some great folks out there. Um, so anybody before we turn it over to John Mark, because they have very different program. Does anybody have any other questions for Mackenzie? We will put a link to the Opelika page when we send out. If you have anything specific, Mackenzie, would you mind sharing that survey that you all did at your initial
Yeah.
interest? If you would just send that to me,
Yeah.
we'll include that as a PDF as well. I love that. Letting the participants kind of guide.
Hmm. Yeah, it was extremely helpful with, but because when we're just like, okay, we actually have data that tells us, because a lot of times you'll just create a board and then they're like, okay, well, I want to do this, and it's
Mhm.
not really representative of the people that will actually come to your stuff.
Yeah. Does anybody have any follow-up questions for Mackenzie before we turn it over to John Mark and Madeline? Look, Mackenzie, you did a great job. See, answered all the questions. Woo, woo, woo. All right. Good job. So
I'll drop my email in here if any of you guys want to follow up with me and ask any follow-up questions or anything like that, but happy to assist you guys in any way.
thank you. Thank you. All right. So kind of a different look and feel. I wanted to give an opportunity to John Mark at the Greater Coosa Valley Chamber of Commerce over in Childersburg. And Madeline, I see, is on here as well. John Mark's program has been successful now for a number of years, but targets a different demographic of young professionals. So with that, John Mark, I will turn it over to you to kind of talk about the success that you guys have had in Childersburg and
Ab-
Madeline.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Paige. And Mackenzie, thank you so much for all the great information. And if you guys will just bear with me, I'm getting over sickness right now. And so if I get to coughing or anything, I'll let Madeline take over. So kind of let you know who Madeline is. Madeline was in our first year of our program, Young Professionals, and we actually deal with juniors and seniors in high school. When I first came on board at the chamber, there was a need for that. A lot of our community leaders wanted something to have young people in high school to be able to plug in, because we have a lot of issue in Childersburg where if we have any talent at all, our talent ends up, we work them here at Childersburg and then they end up moving off somewhere else, a lot of times into the Birmingham area. So we wanted a way so that our young people could feel like there's success that could happen here in Childersburg. So this was an initiative that we took at the chamber, and Madeline was in our first year of the program, and now she's working with us at the chamber. Was hired about a month ago and has been a great success for us. So if there's any questions on that side, she'd be happy to talk with you guys about what that looks like on that end. But what we do is we have a year-long program where the juniors and seniors, we take applications in February. So we're actually in that process right now. And in March, if we reach the cap of how many we could take in, which for us is 20, because there are some logistic reasons when we go visit with business and industry. Some of our big industries we have to separate them off, and then we have to have, of course, adults to be there present in that moment. So we decided 20 was a good number for us. So if we reach that cap in March, we will go in and actually have our young professional committee perform interviews with these students. And then we'll take the top 20 and they will start the program with us in April. And it runs from April to February. And we just take them to different local businesses, industry, tourism places that we have in town. They actually get to go sit in on a city council meeting. Per one of our city council members made that recommendation to me. And they said, hey, why don't you get them to come sit in on the city council meeting? So we have a pre-council with the council that day, and then they get to sit in and see how local business is done on the city level. And so it's a great way for them to see how stuff is done. It's a great way to showcase our young people that there are great opportunities in Childersburg and surrounding communities where they can still be successful, have a family, have a place they can call home, and it could all be at the place that they were raised. And so that was just an initiative that we put in place to have our people in high school realize that there can be success that happens through the chamber here in Childersburg and through their community. We also we did scholarships years ago. We stopped doing them when I came on board. I said, we're going to kick that up again. And we funnel our scholarships through our young professional program. So what we do is as of right now, we have 2 different school systems that we funnel this through, and we take the highest achiever on both sides, both schools, and then we offer them a scholarship. But we don't do it based off if they're junior or senior, because we only allow a student to go through the program one time. So if they overachieve, whether they're junior or senior, they will receive that scholarship when they graduate from us. It's also fully funded from our community partners. It's not cheap to take these students to different places and to do these things and to take time and resources from the chamber to make that happen. We have a partnership program that we do through this, and every year, this is our year number 3, it's been fully funded from our community. So that goes from, we have a platinum partner who we showcase, and then we actually have individual student sponsors who sponsor each student individually. And so it covers all of their fees. And as of this year, we're actually in conversations with some people who want to cover our scholarships. So it's becoming a pretty good funnel of money for us, because every spot that there's an opportunity for money to be used, people have been coming to us, not us to them, which is nice. As we know, it's always irritating to have to pick up the phone and say, hey, we need more money. But with this program, our community has received it very well. We've done a great job marketing it. Now Madeline coming on board, handling that marketing for us, doing a stellar job on that. So just marketing that program, especially, we're a small community. Childersburg is 4,700 people. I mean, you only can use what you got, and that's it. But marketing that program for us was key, and getting the right people to the table was key for us. Very intentional with those conversations with community leaders saying, hey, this is an idea that I have. Let's make this thing happen. And if you get the right people to the table, it doesn't matter how big or small your community is, you can still make something really cool happen. Um, and then I also wanted to take a chance if Madeline, if you wanted to say anything about what the program did for you, because for us, she's a great success story that we have. One of our former young professionals is working on board with us. So Madeline, I don't know if you're there. I know you're on the call, but if you want to talk a little bit about it for just a moment.
Hey, yeah, so I actually was on the Young Professionals with John Mark. I was actually able to my favorite thing was being able to go to all the local businesses and getting way more involved in the community. I definitely loved being able to see, like, I knew these businesses were around, but I didn't know exactly what the businesses did. So I was able to go out and see exactly what went on in the businesses. So I think that's something that was very great. And then I also got to connect with kids from other schools that I didn't even know was in the community. So that was nice. There were some friendships built there. But I think it's just great. I think it's just a great program for kids to be able to get in the community, to see what goes on, and just be able to see the local businesses and exactly what they do.
Absolutely. I appreciate you jumping on board, Madeline, and talking with us a little bit. We've actually had a couple of our students who were in our program, through committee members that we have or board members actually get hired at local businesses because of those connections that were made. So when they go visit with these businesses or with these industries, they speak to C-level employees that hire or C-level employees, they get to do that. And so it's building that bridge and that connection for them. They can find out, hey, we had one of our kids who really wanted to be a firefighter. So we got to go talk to the chief of our fire chief over here in Childersburg and make bridging that connection for him. And that's something that he might utilize later on down the road. And we had 3 of our kids in our program right now actually got hired at one of our local businesses through that connection that they made that through young professionals. So it's just really cool being able to be that connector for our community and see that there are, and it's good also for our local business and industry. For some reason, our young professionals, quote unquote, get this bad rap that they don't want to do anything. They don't want to work or be successful. So it's good for them to see these young people and realize, hey, there are some great people coming up through the pipeline that can be plugged into local business and industry. But that's a very brief overview. I don't have all the information like Miss McKenzie did. We're in our 3rd year of the program. First year we had 11 students. Second year we had 18. And it looks like we're going to have a full class this year. So excited about that. And now we're trying to figure out logistical ways that we can bridge that glass ceiling of 20. And how can we do that? And what does that look like? And so we're working through that as we go through this process. If there's anything you guys need from me, Paige has got my email, has got Madeline's email. Would be happy to share any resources that we have with anybody who wants to start something like this.
Thank you, John Mark. I'm going to open it up for questions in just a second, but I wanted to just speak. I've had the opportunity to be with John Mark on 2 occasions. One was his graduation last year from this program. I was invited to come up and be with them that day and just to see a room full of community leaders celebrating young people. Their families were there. It's definitely creating a sense of pride. And one of the things that nobody does quite as well as Chambers, and that's creating that civic pride, and being a big cheerleader for your community. And so I just applaud you guys for that piece of it as well. And then last week I was in Childersburg for their Hall of Fame banquet and annual meeting. And just seeing your group of young professionals, juniors and seniors in high school, there working, connecting. I mean, they were all over the place in that room, from cleaning up to welcoming people, opening doors. It's just a great connection, and I just applaud both communities. Opelika and Childersburg are 2 very different communities. They're different size, all of that. But the one thing they have in common is the just ability and willingness to step forward and do that. And so whether you're in a smallest of communities or larger communities, it's definitely something that you can do. So thank you to both of you guys. Great work on
Great.
both. Anybody have any questions for John Mark or Madeline or Mackenzie before we adjourn?
Hey, I do real quick. Hey, John Mark.
Yeah, hey Roz.
Hey,
Hey, Roz.
hey, quick question. So when you went to businesses and things, was that during the week, and how was that like excused from school?
Absolutely. Great question, and I apologize for not telling you guys. Well, we meet once a month, and so it depends on the business and industry. Different ones have different times that is good for them. So we try to meet on like the second Monday is kind of like ideal, talking with both principals that are involved with our program. And they said that that works well for them, but they also realize that there's also on the business industry side that they have dates and times that work best for them. So we just kind of try to mix with both. I have a great relationship with both principals and with our local business and industry. So whenever I have a date, I try to just work between them. I have two point of contacts at both schools. And then, of course, my point of contact, the business industry. We all just sit at the same table, email. Well, it's actually really just email everything out and try to get a date and time that works for everybody. And so it's different, but we try to keep them from about 8 to lunch. And we usually feed them lunch. A lot of the times, thank goodness, our business and industry that we go visit, they're more than happy to feed the students. So we feed them and then take them back to the school. And we have a bus that the Parks and Rec, our local Parks and Rec has. They purchased years ago, and they allow us to use that at any point. We just have to find somebody to drive it.
Great question. All right. Anybody have any other questions? I always like to take an opportunity, and we don't always do it, but I'd like to today. We have some new faces on. So really quickly, I'm going to call you out. If you'll just tell us who you are and who you're with. Sandy, you're on my top left. I'm going to start with you. Everybody unmute and put your camera on if you don't mind.
Okay,
So
I'm unmuted, I think.
good job.
I'm Sandy Williams, and I am the director of the Elba Chamber of Commerce.
Very
Elba,
good.
Alabama, way down in the south.
That's right. You my Wiregrass folks.
That's right.
All right, Miss Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Keith, Director of Communications for the Decatur Morgan County Chamber of Commerce.
Very good. Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex King. I'm the administrative and and events coordinator at the Decatur Morgan County Chamber.
Very good. All right, Miss Bethany.
Hello, I'm Bethany Allen. I'm the president of the Pike County Chamber of Commerce, and I have Jaden with me today. She's a sophomore marketing major from Troy University who's shadowing us.
Go Trojans.
Yay!
Mackenzie. Y'all know
me.
Mackenzie. There you go.
Mackenzie Poole, Vice President for the Opelika Chamber of Commerce. Oh, one thing that I wanted to add for you guys, just as a part of this discussion, lean into your boards. Like I mentioned, we have 26 people on our Young Professionals board. I utilize them, especially like our team. We have a team of 8 people, and there's no way I'd be able to operate the leadership programs that we do without our board members' help. So give them those expectations when you're signing those board members up, and have them work the registration, have them send the emails for the events. Lean into those people, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and having as much help as possible, I recommend. Our 20 under 40 program, our board members, they are responsible for connecting with the community leaders and setting up that session. I'm not doing that. So, I mean, I'm checking in with them and making sure that it's planned and it's on track, but I'm not doing that. So just a piece of advice that I just thought of as John Mark was talking to you guys.
Perfect. Great. All right. John Mark.
John Mark Freeman, President of the Greater Coosa Valley Chamber of Commerce.
All right. Miss Crystal.
Crystal Brown. Good morning to everybody, and I am the President and CEO of the Decatur Morgan County Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, John Mark and Mackenzie, for an excellent presentation.
Awesome. Hello, Amberly.
Hey, I'm Amber Fortenberry. I'm Director of Talent Development and Recruitment for the Decatur Morgan County Chamber of Commerce.
All right. Madeline.
Marketing and Administrative Assistant at the Greater Coosa Valley Chamber of Commerce.
All right. Miss Roz.
Ross Jackson with Gardendale Chamber of Commerce.
All right. Nikki.
Hi, I'm Nikki Holliday, the Marketing and Communications Manager at the Athens Limestone County Chamber.
All right. Hello, Miss Laura.
Good morning. I'm Laura Strickland, President and CEO of the Sylacauga Chamber of Commerce.
All right. Nick, we're glad you could join us today from down there in North Baldwin.
Yes, ma'am. Nick, board of directors sitting in for the chamber director that couldn't be there, but everything that everybody has said has been very, very mind-opening for what we're trying to do down here in the lower Alabama side. So thank y'all.
We're glad to have you. I'm glad you're able to join us.
Thank you.
Right, Carolyn? You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Caroline Purnell, and I'm with the Gardendale Chamber of Commerce. And Mackenzie, just a great job. I love that survey idea. I took lots of notes, so expect the email from me.
All right. Carla's hiding behind her camellia. She may be on the road today. She's headed down to Eufaula.
I am on the road. But hi, everyone.
I thought you might be. All right, be careful. And Nicole, last but not least. Oh, hi, Nicole.
Hi, I don't have camera capability on my computer, but hi, I'm Nicole Rudd, and I'm membership and community relations for the Sylacauga Chamber.
All right, very good. Good to see you, Nicole.
Providing her with a camera.
I was about to say, we gotta get that girl a camera. All right. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again, Mackenzie, John Mark. Proof is in the pudding that great things are happening across our state, in every corner. And Nick, I hope that you guys down there in Bay Minette, talk to Christina. These guys are open and ready to share. I know you guys are considering starting a program, so you guys reach out to us. We're happy to help. Our next Talk About It Tuesday will be in March. I don't know what it's about, and I don't know when it is because that's a long way away from today. And we've got some things happening between now and then. But we will be sure to share the date and the topic. First off, thank you, thank you guys for, most of you are going to be joining us next week for our inaugural Chamber Day at the Capitol. We are so excited. We have 125 people. And I just cannot thank you guys enough. It's going to be an amazing day here in Montgomery. I'm excited to share the day with you guys. And then lastly, for those of you, executive leadership is coming up in Auburn. April 22nd and 23rd, we have a phenomenal program that is being put together for you guys. Hope that you will join us then. Last thing I will remind you of is March the 7th, which is a week from Friday, is our deadline for Alabama Accredited Chamber of Commerce, Alabama Accredited Chamber Executive, Chamber Professional of the Year, and Chamber Champion of the Year. So please go to our website, send those nominations in, apply for your AACE, AAC, y'all know the acronyms, your AACCs, all those things, because we want to recognize all the great work that's happening from top to bottom of the state. So thank you guys again for a great, Mackenzie, John Mark, y'all are rock stars. We will see you guys soon. Have a wonderful day wherever you may be.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys.